Welcome to the Simsbury View. I'm Althea Greaney, your host for the next half hour, as we visit with a few of the people who volunteer to make Simsbury a little more colorful and fragrant. We will be speaking with volunteers from two groups who share a love of gardening. Two of our guests are members of the Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge Committee. The third guest is from the Beautification Committee, and if you can say that, good luck, which plans to maintain 60 locations in Simsbury to inspire and enrich our lives. The Old Drake Hill Bridge was a one-way metal truss bridge built in 1892 to allow traffic to cross the Farmington River at Drake Hill Road. In 1992, Simsbury built a two-lane bridge just north of the original bridge. The original bridge was saved and put on the National Register of Historic Places. In 1996, volunteers had the idea to turn it into a flower bridge. Today, the bridge has become the jewel of Simsbury and the destination for hikers, walkers, picnics, small weddings, and wedding photographs, and prom pictures. I'd like to welcome Evelyn Holland, who is the current chair for the Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge Committee, Mabel Howard, who is a founding member of the Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge Committee, and Judy Larkin, co-chair of the Beautification Committee. Mabel, what do you remember most about the institution of the Old Drake Hill Bridge as a flower bridge?
Well, I remember that Anita Mealert was select man at the time, and she was able to get a
federal grant.
A federal grant, thank you, for 80% of the restoration of the bridge. And she convinced the town that this was an important item, as Althea has already mentioned, that it's on the historically important for the National Register of Historic Places. It's also along the Farmington River Canal Greenway, and the new bridge does not have a sidewalk. And with this, she presented all of this information to the boards, and they told her to go ahead, and she did put in for the grant, and the town did receive the grant, and this was the beginning of the bridge. And the next step, after all the restoration was completed, Dominique Avery thought that there was something missing. And she went on and happened to be at the Flower Bridge at Shelburne Falls in Massachusetts. And that bridge was at the time over 50 years old. It's older now, but she wondered why this couldn't happen in Simsbury. And in 1996 is when the first group met and decided to follow through. It was a cooperation of businesses, town committees, various civic groups within town that started the bridge.
Great. How has it changed from 1996 to 2013?
It started out with the 4 apron gardens as you see them today, not as many flowers in them then, and 4 boxes on the sides of the bridge, which were made by the high school students at Simsbury High, and they at that time, and then there were 6 baskets hanging, I believe. And the upkeep at that time was all done by hand. All watering was done by hand.
So you brought watering cans in? Oh my
watering cans, bottles, gallons of water, everything.
Wow,
yes.
That's a lot. That's labor intensive. So now you've got the irrigation hoses there?
We have irrigation there, and we have electricity for the lights there too.
Oh, beautiful. So
and the town does help out in some aspects.
Great, great. That's awesome. It's a beautiful place. Evelyn, how many people does it take to maintain at this point with an even with an irrigation system?
Right. At this point, we have probably about 25 to 28 people that are actively involved. Up until about a year ago, we had about 13, and then like manna from heaven, a bunch of retired teachers came, and wow, they're doing a dynamite job. So, you know, there's somebody there every day deadheading. There's a group that does the boxes, and then there's a different group that does the baskets, and then there are people that maintain the cottage gardens on either end also. So
Wow.
it's quite a massive undertaking.
Yeah.
A lot of dedicated, hard-working people.
Yeah, because only 25 people, that's, you know, somebody has to double up during the month because you
Right.
can't do it like one a day. It's,
Right.
No.
yeah, you got to
Right.
keep going.
Right.
And what kind of skills? I mean, you're saying deadheading,
Yes, right.
fertilizing. I mean, how much like information do you already have to have coming into this? How much skill do you have to have as a gardener?
Right.
To
Really
volunteer?
limited.
Right, limited. And then,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of people that have been there, like Mabel, for instance, and a lot of others that mentor us, because I didn't know how to deadhead certain flowers. I figured you just pull the dead one off. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It's a little bit more involved. Right, right.
What have I done to my
Right.
garden?
So,
So you
it's-
actually
Yeah.
do mentor each other.
Yes.
You kind
Yes.
of one person learns
Right.
from the next. So
Right, right.
great, great. Exciting.
Right.
That's okay. So is the committee responsible for just the flowers, or is it responsible also for the structure itself of the bridge?
No, the
No?
actual structure is, owned by the town.
Town?
But,
Okay.
we maintain and raise all the funds necessary to maintain the bridge.
Maintain the flowers on the bridge.
And yes,
Cottage
right.
gardens.
Right, the cottage
garden.
gardens and the irrigation, and because everything has to be constantly updated, specifically the irrigation system, because it's exposed to the elements
Right,
and tends to break down.
right. And the boxes too, I
Right.
imagine, because
Yes.
they're wooden boxes.
Right.
They're not.
Right.
They're not made out of concrete or whatever.
Right,
So.
right. Yes, in fact, they were replaced about 4 years ago by an Eagle Scout from Canton.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Moritz Boone Vanestade was his name, is his name still.
Yeah.
Very energetic young man, and he took on that responsibility and rebuilt all of those boxes.
Wow.
And then we got Simsbury High School to come and install the boxes.
Nice.
Yes, they made a day out of it.
Great. Yeah, I would imagine like the architectural students and stuff, they'd be building all the structure for supporting those boxes, I would imagine.
Well, the structures were already there.
Oh, okay.
Right, right.
Okay. So who provides the funds for maintaining the bridge? And how do you obtain funding for the maintenance?
For the flowers.
For the flowers, yeah.
Fundraisers.
What kind of fundraisers do you have?
Fundraisers. Well, we have note cards that are always on the market in various stores, and we have, 2 fundraisers now a year, I believe.
Oh, okay.
One in the spring or early summer, and another in the fall.
Okay, and those are
And
advertised?
they're advertised. Everyone's welcome.
Okay.
And there's a donation box down on the bridge
Okay.
that people can put in a donation if they wish, or they can send it to the post office box number,
What is your post
which
office box
is
number? Do you have it?
314 in West Simsbury. Post office box 314, West Simsbury.
Great. Okay.
Plus, a lot of civic organizations, in their fundraising, have given us donations. They've been extremely generous, and
Wonderful.
we're very happy about that.
Just out of curiosity, I don't know if you know this, but how much money does it take to create a bridge of flowers and maintain it through the years?
Well, the flowers alone for a season are around $2,000,
Wow.
and that doesn't include the water, because we pay for that. The town, helps with the electricity.
Okay.
I don't know the actual breakdown of how much it takes to run it per year, because it just seems that whatever we had to fix, we would find a way to do it. Right, right.
Okay. That sounds good. Do you where do you get your flowers from? Is that a trade secret, or
No.
is that something that you can
No.
share with us?
I'll be glad to share it, because
Yeah.
it's the Pick and Patch in Avon,
Okay.
and they are extremely generous. We plant the baskets in early April, and then they are stored at the greenhouses at the Pick and Patch, so that
Wonderful.
when they go up on the bridge at the end of May, they're in full
Full
bloom.
bloom, yeah.
Right,
They're
right,
beautiful already.
right.
Wonderful. Are the boxes sponsored, or that's something that's just done and it's there, or do people actually sponsor specific boxes or hanging baskets or anything?
They are sponsored,
Okay.
and flyers are in the basket at the bridge that anyone who wants to sponsor one. At this moment, we have a waiting list.
Oh,
But,
everybody wants
yes.
to sponsor a box.
Yes, but they are sponsored, and a little plaque goes on as to what they or who they want to represent on it.
Wonderful.
Some of them are very interesting. We have one that says "Just Enjoy," and another one, "Love This Town."
Wow.
And then we have people who are talking about their grandchildren, and it's our grandflowers rather than grandchildren.
Yeah.
And in celebration of our mothers. And then there are 2 boxes that are for the veterans. The veterans organization in town sponsored them.
Wow.
And it reads that in memory of Simsbury veterans who have served our country during time of war and those who have crossed over the bridge. And those 2 boxes are planted with both herbs and edible flowers in honor of the colonists who walked over the original bridge, which was a wooden bridge and was 100 years older than what this one is now.
Wow.
And to remind people that some of them went hungry once they passed over the bridge and had their last meal at home.
Wow.
Okay.
It's,
Yeah.
Very nostalgic.
Yeah.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
A lot of history.
Yeah. It's a good bridge, and it's still used for foot traffic. People can cross over it and, as well as enjoy the flowers.
Right.
And bicyclists.
And bicyclists.
And oh, that's
Lots
right.
of bicycles.
Yeah.
Lots. Right.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Thank
a great
you.
place. Judy is sitting over there on the side, and I don't want to leave you out of this. So does the Beautification Committee have any interaction with the Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge?
Well, some of the volunteers are on both, but that's about it. We're pretty much separate entities at this point.
Okay. So you don't, because I thought I had read somewhere that your committee was actually doing some of the, like the gardens on either side of the bridge. Yeah.
The entranceway they do.
There are some planters. There are planters there, and we maintain that. It happens to be Mabel, who is our volunteer.
And
maintaining
Beverly
it.
Drees, yes.
And Beverly Drees,
Okay.
right.
All
So
right.
that is part of us.
So besides doing that, what else does the Beautification Committee do for people who don't know?
Sure. Well, we maintain gardens throughout the town. We have 60 sites that we maintain, and we have 50 volunteers. And each one maintains their site. Some people maintain more than one, obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously. And the intersections in the road, such as out here at West Street, the one at 185, we have boxes there, at the bus stop, all throughout town, which is really lovely. And we maintain all those boxes in the gardens.
Wow. I mean,
it's
I've
a
seen
big
people
job.
out there, and I have to say, I went to get photographs, and totally, totally scary environment to be working in.
It is.
And hats off to you.
Thank you.
And I want
Yes.
to ask our
Thank you.
audience to please, please slow down and be considerate of our volunteers who are working in those gardens, because they do a beautiful job, and they really should be admired and respected for what they do.
I agree there.
Yes.
So when and why was the Beautification Committee started?
Way back in 1967.
Wow.
So it's been around a long time. It was split off from a Simsbury Conservation Committee, and then the beautification became its own. I don't know tons of the history. I've been reading, but of course today I'm not going to remember it, you know how that goes. But they are much more involved with the town committee than we are. We pretty much just maintain our sites and plant them. Back then they were doing, they gave awards to residents and to businesses for beautifying Simsbury. That was quite a big thing.
Wow.
They, what else did they do? They advised businesses on how to landscape their property. They were quite involved with the landscaping at the Farmington Mall, where the Stop and Shop is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were involved with choosing the trees and planted trees throughout town and so
wow.
forth.
Didn't
So they
know
were,
that.
yeah, I didn't either.
Wow.
But at the moment, it's a very loosely organized committee, and we have one meeting a year,
Wow.
and we'd love to have volunteers.
Okay. So yeah, you said you had 50 people so far. skill requirements are similar to the old Drake Hill Bridge,
Yep.
or is it more you need to know how to plant into planters and gardens and stuff?
People will be glad to give advice. You just have to be willing to get dirty.
Okay.
That's about it.
And face the traffic.
Yes, face the traffic.
Where do you get the materials that you use to work with?
We use the pick and patch also. They're very good for us. We order our plants in the fall for what we want to put in the town planters, and then they have them ready for us when we pick them up in the spring. And then almost all of our plants come from pick and patch. Again,
Okay.
they donate some and help us out
Great.
with prices.
And again, funds have to come from somewhere.
This one, the town funds us.
Oh, okay.
So we have a budget from the town,
Okay.
and they provide the mulch, but it comes out of our budget, but they provide the mulch for us.
Okay.
And they're really great. They do pretty much anything we like. A big project of ours is the Schultz Park, if you know, right in the center of town.
Center of town, yeah.
We maintain that now.
Wow.
The Garden Club used to maintain it, and in 2003, the Beautification took it over. It's lovely in there. If you've ever been in there, it's a lovely park. It's very pretty.
Wonderful.
Prom pictures were being taken in there, when probably the same time they were at the bridge, I would
Yep.
assume. Right.
Okay. The time commitment for a volunteer. How much time is involved in maintaining your own special plot?
It depends on your area.
Okay.
If you just have a planter,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a tremendous amount of time. You plant it, water it, do the deadheading, and pull the plants out in the fall. But if you're, as Michelle Jenks is, she's pretty much in chair of the Schultz Park.
Oh.
We're there all the time. It seems like,
Yeah.
weeding and pruning and things
Doing
like
all
that. So
that stuff.
that's a big commitment of
Big
time.
commitment.
Yep.
But just out of curiosity, I know that we're all a little bit more experienced. But do you have people who are younger that, do we have any people like in their 20s and 30s who are volunteering to do any of this?
We have 3 teenagers that are helping us from
That's even
Simsbury High
better.
School.
Good.
And the Granby welcome sign is being maintained by a mom and her 6th grade son, excuse
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
So yes, we involve young people too.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that, because it's a skill that seems to be diminishing as time goes on, with just getting down and getting dirty in the soil and having things grow and be beautiful. So it's good. It'd be wonderful if more people would join them. See, so I'm assuming that the locations that the Beautification Committee maintains, those were chosen then by the town, or by that committee back in 1967?
I think it was by the committee. They've whittled them down. We've dispensed with some locations and dispensed with some of the planters, but probably in the interest of saving money, they got rid of some of them, and they were just.
Well, probably
We kept
maybe
the
some of them
best.
became too dangerous
That
to
could be
deal
too.
with. Quite honestly, that one that's on the corner of, is it 315 and 10 and 202?
Yes.
I mean, that one, I don't know when you could possibly work on it, that may be like midnight.
Well, that's my island, and I do it early in the morning.
Okay.
That's
Hats
time.
off to you, man. That was the scariest thing to try and get a picture of. So the back to the old Drake Hill Bridge, Drake Hill Flower Bridge. The fundraisers are actually held at the bridge, like in the fall and the spring. I know you've mentioned that you have 2 fundraisers, one in the fall, one in the spring.
Yeah, last year was the pizza party, which I think was probably one of the first I can remember having on the bridge.
Oh, okay.
And then this year, this Wednesday night, as a matter of fact, we're having the burgers on the bridge.
Okay.
So
this is something relatively new
right.
for the fundraising.
Right.
Oh, I like the idea, though.
we love it too, but we have to depend on Mother Nature.
Yes.
And last year she didn't cooperate, but people came anyway. I mean, they were amazing. They had umbrellas, they had slickers.
The musicians
Right.
played
Yeah,
right
they
through
got
the
under-
rain. They got
right.
under the back
of their
the
van.
car.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well,
Right.
hopefully.
We're a sturdy bunch.
Yes. Well, farmers are, and people who grow flowers are. Do you have a website for people to access to get information about the Drake Hill Bridge?
We go off of the town's website, but if you go on Google and put in the old Drake Hill Flower Bridge, you'll get
information
right to it.
up on
Right,
that.
right.
Wonderful.
And some beautiful pictures by a lot of artists, a lot of photographers that we don't really know.
Oh.
But tons of beautiful pictures there.
Wow.
Right.
Great. Okay. So we know that the people can send you donations to the post office box,
Right.
which
Correct.
we gave. They can get more information by going out to Google it. And if they want to volunteer, who would they contact to volunteer?
Me.
Or any person
Anybody,
down
right.
there working on the bridge.
Right.
Anybody working on the bridge,
Right.
just tap them on the shoulder and say,
Right.
I want to be a volunteer.
That's right.
Or if they want, they can go through the Cultural and Rec Department,
Okay.
and they will, get you to us.
That's right.
Right.
Because if somebody wanted to like reserve the bridge
Right.
for an actual wedding
Right.
ceremony, that's who they would go to, Cultural
Right.
Parks and Recs.
Right, right. Because you do have to reserve it, because I had reserved it one time for a luncheon, and somebody was coming for a wedding in the afternoon,
Oh.
and we ended up with the luncheon party going to their wedding. Right, so
Yeah.
you're better off to reserve it and make sure that,
That you have
you
it.
can hold it, right?
Okay. That's kind of important.
Right.
I'd hate to be doing something there and suddenly have somebody else show up and say, oh, no.
I thought I had the bridge,
Bridge,
right?
Yeah. So, okay. Let's see if I have any other questions here. Let's see. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about that they would like to discuss? Any stories about gardening in the Beautification Committee or the Drake Hill Bridge? Any?
On the east side of the bridge, we often have cars that are, as you say, flying down the street, and all of a sudden they'll stop in front of that side of the bridge when we're working, and we'll stop, roll a window down, and yell out, "Thanks,"
Yes.
and then step on the gas and
Right.
take right off. Yes.
People appreciate it.
They do, yes.
They do. Now with the deadheading, we were talking about you can't just rip them off. What do? Do you have scissors then?
Yes.
Is that how you
Yes.
do it?
Yes,
Okay, that's
and you
the proper
follow
way.
the stem down to the place it's attached to the larger stem.
Oh, okay.
Which with some of the flowers, like the ageratums, which are teeny, teeny, tiny,
Yeah.
you have to be, it takes quite a while. But it benefits it, because all that does is encourage more blooms.
Okay.
Right, right.
Yeah. Well, because I'm trying to remember argyratum. Yeah, that's the one that has all the little tiny purple
Right.
ones coming out.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, that one was a pain in the butt when I had it in flowering boxes. Because they don't all die at the same
Right,
time.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So then,
Right.
yeah.
Presents a challenge. The geraniums do that too,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
part of it on the inside will
That's
be
right.
all, wilted and icky, as you say, along with the petunias. Those get real icky.
Yes. Very quickly, too.
Yes.
But if you do remove the deadheads, they
Oh,
do come back
yes,
so
they're
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
They do.
Right.
Do you change out the flowers like mid-season?
No.
No.
Once they're chosen, they're the end. They must be annuals. Then they just go
Yes.
all season long.
Yes. And the cottage gardens have perennials in there as well as annuals, as well as shrubs.
Okay. So it's a
Okay?
mixture.
It's a mixture there, yes.
So the shrubs, I would imagine, stay there and they
There.
stay beautiful all through the
Well,
winter.
they need trimming every spring, but other than that, yes.
And then about 3 years ago, we started just before Thanksgiving to put greens in all of the boxes. Like pine and
okay.
hemlock, et
Just
cetera, et cetera,
something
and
in the boxes.
holly, and then red bows, just to give it some beauty in the wintertime too.
Yeah, I like that.
Right.
I like having something there all
Right.
the time.
Right.
So.
The greens come from the
Oh,
bridge members,
right.
and Simsbury Garden Club
Right.
often has their wreath working workshop
Oh,
the same Monday that we do the boxes, and whatever is left over, they kindly donate to us
Right.
so
Oh,
we
how
can
nice.
finish them
Right.
off. Yes.
wow. So the bridge really is multi-seasonal
Mhm.
because it will go from May with flowers until, I'm thinking probably early October?
Well, we get it
To-
just before Halloween. We usually break it down.
Break it down?
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's a long season.
It is.
A very long season. But it's so beautiful.
It's joyful. Right.
And just absolutely lovely. Do you pick your flowers more for the colors or for the fragrance or for the longevity of their lives?
And the
All three.
availability too.
Oh,
Right.
okay, availability. So I know the Beautification Committee, they have quite a selection. Like I was out at the corner of Holcomb and County, and there's a lot of bushes in there. There's a lot of different kinds of flowers and
Not
plants
perennials,
and things.
mostly perennials
Perennials.
and shrubs that he has in that one. Nick
Yeah.
Pereira does that
Okay.
island.
And so each individual can choose what they choose to
Pretty
put
much,
into it?
except
Oh,
for the boxes around town. There,
Okay.
we try to do almost all the same.
wonderful.
But everything
wonderful.
else.
So they can. Anybody wants to get on the Beautification Committee can call you.
Yes, they can call me. I'm
Okay,
Judy
Judy.
Larkin. I'm in the book.
Okay, Judy Larkin in the
phone
book.
Yep.
So let's see. I'm just seeing if we have anything else, and I know that we're running close on time here. So just want to see. Was there anything else anybody wanted to communicate to help people join their committee?
Join.
It's come
fun.
enjoy all these.
Yeah.
Come enjoy Schultz Park. That's really a
It
gem
is
in town.
pretty.
Some
It
people
is.
don't even know it's there, which
Right.
is sad.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful park.
Yeah. What
We have.
there used to be concerts there, didn't
There
there?
used to be
Yes.
a bandstand, but that was taken down.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
So, but people
But
can
they
still
can
walk
stroll
through it.
through it. You can have picnics there. We have picnic tables in there and benches, and it's
Great.
great.
Okay, so we've run out of time. It has been so wonderful to learn about how volunteers are keeping our streets and bridge beautiful. I want to thank Judy Larkin from the Beautification Committee and Evelyn Holland and Mabel Howard from the Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge Committee for joining us today when they could have been out tending the gardens and flowers we all take for granted and enjoy as we drive around town. Slow down when you see workers in the islands and give them a friendly wave and smile. They deserve recognition and appreciation for their hard work. To support the Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge Committee, please send your tax-deductible donations to Old Drake Hill Flower Bridge, Post Office Box 314, West Simsbury, Connecticut 06092. To volunteer for the Beautification Committee, you can call Judy. I'm going to give your phone number at 651-4964. Our camera operators today are Joe Giardenti and Sally Suma, with special thanks to Rachna Hargrawal for directing. SCTV staff, Karen Hanville, Jason Staples, and Phyllis Fishberg provide training and support to all interested in volunteering to cover meetings and programs. I'm Althea Greaney. Thank you for watching the Simsbury Week.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.